In the field of artificial intelligence, common sense knowledge is defined as the collection of facts and information that an ordinary person is expected to know. Research projects that attempt to construct a database of common sense knowledge require enormous amounts of ontological engineering. So far, the problem, which was already outlined by Hubert Dreyfus in What Computers Can Do 1972, is considered to be among the hardest in all of AI research, because the breadth and detail of such knowledge is astronomical. Can you comment on the problem of common sense knowledge?
One of the issues raised with the problems that developing AI systems have and had was how AI systems deal with common sense knowledge. AI can very, very quickly process all sorts of critical pieces of information, come up with a solution, but very simple, basic, common sense ideas that we all know as humans and deal with on a day-to-day basis, they're there somehow because it's just common sense, machines have considerable problem with. And putting some of these common sense bounds, rules, barriers into an AI system creates all sorts of problems. And actually getting all of such things into an AI system, then you have an AI system that is a gazillion times bigger and will never operate because it's going through all the different rules and bounds each time in order to make a decision and so on. It's a very, very difficult task. Frankly, human brain and a machine brain are very different. Human brains tend to operate in a human body with human sensory input and doing human things. Common sense to a human depends on all those things. It depends on how we're perceiving the world. It depends on how we, as humans, live and interact and do things in the world, and how other humans largely interact and do things with us and so on. This is what we would describe as human common sense. Common sense to a machine can be a very, very different thing. It's a machine doing a machine thing and so on. So if it's really another one of these features that we look at that is trying to get a machine with its form of intelligence to operate in a human-like way. The machine may well have other parameters, it may well have other factors. You'd have to say what is common sense to a machine, which may not be common sense to a human. And we see these issues cropping up between different humans, that if you are one human and you go into a very different environment, then what can be regarded as common sense in that environment and straightforward and simple and so on, you don't know. You have no idea what to do in that situation, yet it's common sense. But you don't, it's not that common because you come in from another aspect. Your background is different, your history is different, what you've learnt is different, particularly in your environment is different, and hence you're out of depth in this new environment you're in. You don't understand as a human some of the very basic common sense rules of interaction and so on. It's something you have to pick up, and you can learn, and so you pick it up. So for the machine, it has its own rules, it has its own setup. It might well be possible to teach a machine in certain ways, in certain areas, some common sense understanding and abilities, but to understand all of them, it probably does need to have a human body with human senses and human movements, and to live as a human in a human world, it has to be a human. Or so damn close as makes no difference. So if we actually have a human brain and put it in a human body, Frankenstein style, then maybe we can create a machine which is a human, but it's got a form of intelligence which has common sense and so on. Any differences there it's always going to have problems with learning the very simple, basic, elementary, common sense things. So I see it as a bit of a misnomer, but again, it is looking at a problem that is raised by trying to get machine intelligence to copy human intelligence. As soon as we get away from that basic way of thinking of machine intelligence, artificial intelligence, to being intelligent in its own way, then this is not a general issue. It's just an issue as far as human intelligence and getting the machine to copy that is concerned, really.